Miracle Christian Church here in Windhoek. Today it's a great day for ourselves. As a church, we are bound to celebrate this day, the great day of our icon, the one that fought for the struggle of liberation, Nelson Mandela, Holy Clash, the man who stood fast for us to have this democracy that we're enjoying today. Today is celebrating his birthday. We're saying as a church because we're working with people outside there. We're working with the community. Hence we're able to do this kind of a celebration. Thank you very much. At least we do have the social distance.
Fools multiply when wise men are silent. Those were the words of Nelson Mandela. Greetings, Mfundisi Bloom, Insumpa Yelbandla. We're greeting unkosikazi, umama unkosikazi, abadala, church leaders, nabalandeli baka Mrs. Philip on Facebook, unobhala wale nkonzo. Declared by the Secretary of the Church under the leadership of Mfundisi to deliver a paper or a lecture on Nelson Mandela. But I have decided to contextualize my topic, DT, Nelson Mandela, a call to action. Firstly, as a country and as a nation, let us join millions of other people in the world in expressing our word of condolence to the Mandela family and the community of Soweto on the loss of our sister, Uzinzi. A very sudden loss, unexpected and painful. We also send our message of condolences to all people who have lost their loved ones during these challenging times of living with the COVID pandemic. Sithi kubantu bakuthi nqe akuhlanganwe ngehliyo. Mfundisi, let me declare from the beginning that I have an agenda. The agenda of my topic, Mrs. Philip, is to convey a message that mobilizes our people to take action. I want to say something to stimulate our people, or at least those who are watching, to take action. As we can learn from the early political emergence of Nelson Mandela in the 1940s, it shows a young, energetic man who was always driven by a need to see results after action. Hence today I would like to inspire you to take action and let your voice be heard. We are not calling on you to necessarily join political organizations like the one I'm a member of. But please, in the name of Madiba, do say loud, not in my name. I want to quote one activist who's very firm that people need to take positions on matters. He says, we must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, not the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, not the tormented. So today our message to our people, ingakumbi kule nkonzo yalapha eRhabe let us take action. Fortunately, I'm preaching to the converted because this is a church that has demonstrated its willingness to take action. It is a congregation that doesn't keep quiet. From long before, this particular congregation has always taken action. But it's important that we always remind those who are watching on Facebook, abantu abahleli ekhaya, that enough is never enough. Let's continue to take action. Let's continue to say something in memory of Nelson Mandela. Ditaphule 4 or 5 topics that I think describe Nelson Mandela. And throughout these subtopics, I want to emphasize the need to take action. The first point that I would like to come up with is bravery. Nelson Mandela himself says, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over not feeling afraid. But he who takes action is the one who conquers the fear. That's what Madiba said. Madiba, we all know, was a brave man. This is the man in the 1940s when he joined the ANC Youth League, had a problem with the Communist Party. He chose the ANC. He was the one who went to disrupt meetings of the Communist Party. Whether he was right or wrong, I am not arguing that. But what I'm arguing, this was a brave man who took action after being convinced by the decision that he took. He was bold enough during that time to say the ANC was too soft. That yena, Nabo Comrade Tambo, Nabo Anton Lembet and other leaders adopted a radical program of action. Because they felt that the ANC and they took a decision that honor as the youth of the time, we can't be skobumwas, situation deputation, net delegation lamapur. Let's take action. He was not afraid to lead. That's why between 1951 and 1953, he was the volunteer-in-chief of the Defiance Campaign of 1951 and 1953, where ANC leaders were undermining unjust laws of the time. He took action. Again, later in his life, in the 60s, when the ANC felt that all doors were closed after the Sharpeville massacre, he agreed and accepted to be the commander of Umkhonto weSizwe. He had the courage. And later again, during the negotiations, he had the courage to lead us and took many decisions which not all of his comrades were happy with. I'm talking about a man who had the courage of conviction to take action. I'm saying, Ubalandeli balenkonzo nabanye abahlobene noMrs. Philip on Facebook, the time has arrived and come that masiyeke ukubukela kusonakala kuzona kwethu. Let us be brave enough to say no. Thina madoda sihlukumeza abantu ababhinqileyo. It's about time that we, men of conviction, stand up and say, not in our word, not in our name. It's about time that we say no kubantu who are undermining the freedom yethu. It's about time that we stand up against corruption. It's about time that we march, we make our voices heard, and say no to people who abuse our children, and say no to people who undermine our very existence as a country. It's about time that we make our voices heard. If Madiba could be brave enough to break the meetings of the Communist Party in the 40s, if Madiba could be brave enough to lead Umkhonto weSizwe when he knew that apartheid army was strong, if Madiba was brave enough to mobilize people, why can't we be brave enough at least to say no, not in our name? Why can't we be brave enough to say we are not going to abuse our women, our sisters, our daughters? I'm saying, Bantu bakowethu, let us stand up and say no. Let us stand up to people who steal public funds and say no. Let us stand up to people who kill innocent people and say no. Our voice must be heard. Was dedication and sacrifice. Ukuzinikela nokuncama enye into. Madiba dedicated his whole life to the liberation of the African majority in South Africa. Because of his dedication, his children never really enjoyed growing up with their father. He spent 27 years in prison, leaving behind his young wife at the time. This naturally led to all kinds of sacrifices, which unfortunately eventually led to the breakup of his marriage. When Madiba was in prison, abantwana bakhe would ask him, would write to him, bathi tata uzobuya nini? They could not understand. Uzinzi, no Zenani, they were young at the time. Madiba, in one of his letters to the children, uthi, I quote, I told you that the white judge said I should stay in jail for the rest of my life. I am not sure when I'm going to come out. It might take a bit long. It might be soon. No one knows. Even the very judge who sent me here doesn't know when I will come out. But rest assured, one day I will come out and join you. No parent ever wishes to write such a letter to his children. But he dedicated his life to free his people. And unfortunately, there was a price to pay. Today we appeal to everybody who's watching this lecture to actively defend this freedom. It was not free. It came at a price. Let us not keep quiet when this freedom that some parents could not stay with their parents, with their children, is being undermined. Let us stand up and defend this freedom. Don't take arms, just raise your voice and say not in my name. This freedom is undermined by people who steal from the poor. This freedom is undermined by people who continue to commit acts of violence against the weak. This freedom is undermined by those who are powerful, who undermine the weak, the political leaders who undermine the very electorate. This freedom is undermined by people in power, whether in business, in church, or other sectors of society. Our freedom is being undermined. Our freedom is being undermined by people who sell drugs. Our freedom is being undermined by people who know that are COVID positive. They don't wear their masks in public. Our freedom is being undermined by people who don't practice social distance. Our freedom is undermined by people who have no respect for human life. Let us stand up and be heard. What can we do? I'm saying the least we can do is to keep a social distance. The least we can do is to say, please remember to wear your mask. Don't be nice when someone comes close to you. Keep away 2 meters away from me. Or when keep away from that person. Because we need everybody alive in this country. We say to us, this visible enemy called COVID, but unfortunately, when people decide, when we are told not to drink, you are undermining our freedom. When people decide that they will go out and socialize and have parties, all those things, they are undermining our freedom. Because those very people will come and mix with us. And those of us who have high blood pressure, who are diabetic, and so on, may not be able to be resistant to these problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bazalwane, I'm saying to you, let us be heard. Let us say something. Let's speak up. Let's not be shy. It's not a sin to say no. Another nto elifuna uyibalula ngomadiba ibiyi resilience. Yazi lento ukuthi umuntu akanikezeli. Umadiba ngutata apha abenganikezeliyo. In his own words, uthi, do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fall and get up. Matiba had many ups and downs in his life. His life was not a bag of roses. Funso Blom, mna ndikhonza kwinkonzo yamakatolika. Kwinkonzo zamakatolika buyangena phaya. Kukho into program just during Lent that we call Stations of the Cross. I'm sure Mfuti is a theologian, knows what I'm talking about. Stations of the Cross. In any tower I said Roma, Africa, who call it pictures, the 14 of them, there are 14 stations. Any church building I said Roma. During that walk, after Jesus was sentenced, in his walk up to the mountain of Golgotha, he fell and rose 3 times. During that journey, after he was sentenced, up to the point he was hanged, as was carrying his cross to the mountain, he fell and rose 3 times. That's what Matiba went through. That's a spirit of resilience. The man was weak as well, walking through that journey, but he had to carry the cross. At times, because he was weak. If you remember, Jesus Christ even says, don't cry for me, when those women were crying for him. That was the spirit of resilience. Matiba's life, I don't say Matiba is like Jesus Christ, but all I'm saying, I'm trying to draw parallels to say that this is the man also who went through ups and downs. This is a man who got divorced twice, married 3 times. This is a man who was sentenced to life imprisonment. This is the man, this is a man who was arrested many times in his life. He had many setbacks. This is a man at times who led a lonely life. I know personally, after the unbanning of the ANC, this is a man who was challenged by many within the ANC. The city Matiba stayed in Sun, but he had resilience. He knew the path he was traveling. I'm saying today, we learned those things from Matiba. I'm saying as we are fighting this invisible enemy, let's have resilience as a nation. As we're fighting this invisible enemy, in COVID, masiwe sivuka, singatinwa ngabantu bethu. You know, like everybody, let us continue to say, keep a social distance, wear your mask, do this. We have a duty to this nation. Let's have resilience. Other people are going to party at the square. let's continue talking out. Many are watching this on Facebook as we are doing now. We are passing a message that it's not right to do that. Let us continue, ladies and gentlemen, to do that. Julius Nyerere, those who receive this privilege, the sacrifices others made. We are the beneficiaries of the resilience of Madiba. We sizindlalifa the resilience yabatata. The president of Tanzania, Julius Nyerere, says we have a responsibility because we have a responsibility to defend and repay the sacrifice those that were there before us made for us. I can't say this more, Basalelo Dade. Let us have this message that we continue to pass for the sake of Madiba. Let us raise our voice against people who continue to undermine our freedoms. Because the Freedom Charter, the Charter, it lists all the freedoms that emphasis for men. And at the end it says, these freedoms we shall fight for side by side throughout our lives until we have won all our liberties. Those freedoms have not been attained yet. People of South Africa, we have the right to meet, we have the right to gather, we have the right to associate, but not all those. People don't have land. People don't have access to equal education. There are many other freedoms that we must still fight for. The biggest mistake we shall make as South Africans is to delegate that freedom to government, is to delegate that responsibility to politicians, is to delegate that responsibility to political parties. No. Ourselves as a civil society, yourselves as the church, yourselves as communities, continue raising these matters. Hence I want to say, let us never give up the fight. Let us be resilient. Let us continue to fight. Before I conclude, I just want to say a word about Madiba and education. Madiba himself, no country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. No country can really ever develop unless its citizens are educated. He is known for the love of education. Not only did he love education, he respected education. We are told in our readings, even in prison, he encouraged young prisoners not to be crying about get educated. Many comrades were in prison. They say, and all those leaders, they encouraged the young comrades who were there, get educated. Madiba himself, in the letters to his kids, the first thing he would comment on was the quality of their pass rate. He would comment about their education. He monitored the education of their kids from standard 2 grade. This thing, it was standards then. Madiba monitored. In Kubela Pambi, he is known to have established the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and all those organizations, because he wanted to make sure that he realized that government alone cannot do these things. Government alone, we can't say we have a Department of Education. Hence he established the Children's Fund. Hence he established the foundation and other organizations and many other libraries around the country to make sure that people continue their education. My word today to this church and many other people who are watching this, let us encourage our congregants to respect education. Let us encourage our kids to stay at school as long as possible, to arm themselves with education. Let us encourage the young one. the young ones to arm themselves with technical skills. It is said with Bobby Putwa, Kana Siamba, Sibona Kofagwa is fiber. You notice that Abande to Wana, Maya, you find that Abba Pelapa, Kamazo Pesha, they are technical, but advancing, but our guys can't do that. You know? Let us encourage. We have technical colleges. One of the biggest technical around is here in Unique, is Cape Beatles College. Is it relevant to the education needs of the people of Unique? It's a debate. Last time I checked, it was not. You know, last time I checked, it was not. Let us continue to challenge those structures. As we have these programs, Mrs. Philip, Siswam, let us also check if organizations around us are like institutions. Let us coordinate ourselves to make sure that institutions are not there just for the sake of being there. They are there, they are relevant to our community and our society. Otherwise, what's the point? In conclusion, I want to say, you know, you are a church organization. When I was young, in my days, Jay, I was a member of an organization called the Young Christian Students. And where the campaign that says, we stand by the truth. Let us stand by the truth. Would you, Malcolm X, I am for the truth, no matter who tells it. Matiba also stood for that. Let us encourage people to stand for the truth. Even if the truth is being said by our enemy, if it is the truth, let us stand by the truth. Let us encourage people to learn to speak truth to power. Let us encourage our people to learn to speak openly, because as the Bible says, the truth will set you free. Let us be brave enough. Let us encourage resilience so that our people know that there's so much that can be attained if we stand together, and there's so much that we can do if we speak truth to power. There's so much that we can do if we liberate ourselves with education. Let us arm ourselves with education. But all I'm saying, let us have actions. The book of James chapter 2 verse 24 says, you see that a person is justified by works, not by faith alone. And go down right for this. You see that a person is justified by works and not by faith alone. That means we may have faith, but these actions like the ones that we're having today, to make our voice heard, to say, as we remember Matimba, as we pay tribute to Matimba, all that I want to urge our people to do is that let us speak up. Let us stand up. Activism has failed in our communities. We have delegated that activism to government, and government has proven it's not the best to can deliver on all things. Actually, I'm telling you now, I'm part of government as I speak here. If government doesn't hear the voices of the people outside, government will not act. If government doesn't feel the partnership of the communities, the pressure of the communities, the disengagement or the engagement by the communities, government will not deliver. All I'm saying, we have power as communities, we have power as churches, we have power as civil society. Let us never delegate that to some mysterious power out there to think it will be done. Ours is powers. Hence the slogan of our people of all time says, Amandla Kawetu. Thank you very much.
Sanitizer.
Let me also take this opportunity to greet the leadership of the church and the members of this church, Elliott Memorial Congregational Church, Reverend Keke Tsoplong, the resident minister of Elliott Memorial Congregational Church. Let me take this opportunity to firstly say to Mr. Kwenaite, thank you very much for the information that you have shared with us today. It was more of imfundiso that we have received today. We will continue as this church, because one of the important things that we mention in our mission statement is that as this church we are committed to our members. And I think today we have done that in our best, in making sure that we share the information that is there. Because some of the people, they are not having access in such information. So once more, thank you very much, Mr. Kwenaite, for availing yourself to come here and share such an information. We want to be known as this church, as a church that creates platform for such activities, so that people can be able to receive information and knowledge. Because we always say knowledge is power. So we want to be known as the church that is going to educate, and we will continue to create such platforms. And I'm glad that we have created this platform in such a time like this. Because some of the people, they think that as the church we are not able or we can't do ministry during this time. And I think this is the time. This is the time where God has called us as the church to make sure that we reach out to people. And thanks God that we have these platforms that we can use to still reach out, to people. Because this time calls us as a church to reach out to people and give people the information that they need to receive. So we are creating also a platform where our pulpit as this church will not only be used to share the word of God, but it will also be used to educate people. It will also be used to share information that people need to know. So we will continue to do that as this church, and I think this is not the first and the last activity that we have. We are going to continue. Mr. Kwenaite has mentioned a lot of things that are happening during this time. We've got a challenge now of GBV. There are a lot of things that we need to engage ourselves and talk about, during this time, because we are faced with the challenge of COVID-19. And we want to encourage as the church, as Mr. Kwenaite has actually shared with us, that it is the time where we need to work hand in hand with government and really make sure that whatever that has been said by the government, we do it as this community. Because it's going to help us as the people of this country. Social distancing is something that is very important, that we need to do. We need to always make sure that we wear our mask. We need to make sure that as this community, we wash our hands. And thank you very much for also availing yourselves to listen and look out for more, because more is coming from Elliott Memorial Congregational Church. So thank you very much for this opportunity. May God bless you and continue to protect you and be with you at all times. I thank you.